There we go. Chat bans this game: Wukong, Kassadin, Teemo, and Nidalee. Wukong, good AD champion. He has a really solid initiate and does a lot of damage. That armor reduction is really useful. We have Kassadin, who's the best spell damage assassin in this game mode. We also have Nidalee, who has the best poke, and Teemo, who has mushrooms and a blind and all sorts of bad things. This finals is actually going to be Clueless versus Sofanda. Because, well, in the last game, Sifu Calvin, who was one of the founding members of Cheese Enema, happened to not be on the roster for one reason or another. How do you build Urgot, get every pen item in the game, and that's all you do? You just get every pen item in the game and kill everyone you see. Just camp the health relics to keep your mana up. We're seeing Bran get banned as well. We're seeing me forget to use my overlay. Because I am the third best Dominion commentator on North America. Armed Weasel, you don't need to build for Kadur. You get the Kadur from the Black Cleaver and the Yomus anyway. Or from the, which one is it? Yeah, you get Black Cleaver from... You get it from both those. So you get Kadur there just fine. You get some from Sorcery also. And then you get... Well, you get Ionian Boots if you really want CDR. Kaiser-esque, I have a great picture that explains the pen meta. It's me and a pre-made, and me and the other two AD all building the exact same items except for boots. Everything else was the same. Pen, win the game. There you go. So Bran has a really powerful zoning ability. Jarvan, great attack damage tank. AoE airborne, line effect. Spawns terrain, can slow people. Kha'Zix, there's that ban over there. He's getting kicked out because he's the most powerful attack damage assassin. And Zyra and Bran have the best zoning ability. Jarvan and Maokai are the most commonly used tanks in the game mode. But who's the last ban going to be? Will it be Jace? Will it be Elise? Will it be Evelynn? Kayle, maybe? There's a lot of different champions it could be. Fizz? Could be... who else could it be?
It could be Vayne against Baby. I don't know. Oh, or
Jace! See? I called it. Ish. But you get it. It's now Peoples gets to pick a champion. He has a lot of champions to choose from. He's decided to secure Pantheon for his team. The question of who is Tay by Kaylin Storm in the chat. Tay is probably the best AD carry mechanically that we have in Dominion. He's really good. We're seeing a Janna highlight. Tay's relatively new. Maybe a couple months. He doesn't have the long, crazy history that a lot of us guys have.
I think the first tournament that I casted was one of his first times playing.
It sounds about right. So he's only been here for a few months. He's not run the 2-year like we have, but yeah, he's solid. He's really good. The only person that I've seen that has control like that is Talith PA, and Talith doesn't compete anymore. I mean, he pops up once in a while for some games, but oh, you can't hashtag old school Kaylin Storm. Kaylin Storm, who won DD0 and when was it? I only want Kaylin Storm to answer this question. Can't hashtag old school. But it's probably a sarcastic old school, but because he's new school. Yep. He doesn't know. Does anyone else in the chat know? Who won DD0 and when was it? Moloko knows because he's studied. So we're seeing Janna and Corki picked up as well. And we talked about Pantheon before. Pantheon's good at finishing people off. Global map presence is good. Durable character. Nice. Janna, movement speed, great crowd control ability, really good at helping secure kills, especially with Zephyr, and that shield's awesome. Just everything about Janna is amazing on this map. Corki, golly, that's probably going to be AP. Probably going to be AP Corki, because it's golly playing it. AP Corki's poke is amazing. And we see Kayle and Orianna. That Orianna, I don't know who's going to be playing Ori. I feel like it might be Peoples playing Ori bot. But Ori can be pretty spammy, does a lot of magic damage. And Kayle's a character she's an AD carry that can shoot everyone on your team at once. Her damage gets completely out of control late game. Has great chase as well. And then we're...
Yes. Oh, I just wanted to
on.
talk about team composition.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I guess we can go through the rest of the picks, but...
Yeah, talk about some stuff. I've been talking for like 3 minutes, it feels like. So go for it.
I usually wait until we see, like, all of the champions and then talk about comps, but...
It's more fun to speculate and be completely wrong in front of an audience. It might not be very professional, but it's funny.
The thing that concerns me a little bit is the lack of a dash and ball carrier. Okay, just kidding, they have a Nocturne. So it'll probably be Orianna in bot lane, but if last game was any indication, there is a ton of roaming up from bot lane very frequently. And if Parker's... Actually, it could be an Urgot bot lane. It'll probably be Baby on Kayle, I think. So I'm not sure who's going to be playing Urgot or if that'll be bot lane. But let's say Urgot's bot lane, Orianna's top, then Orianna plus Nocturne, that's what you want to be diving in. That's where you want to be getting the initiation. And the kill, if that can stop Talon's 100-0 potential, then the kill is going to end up being really effective. But again, there's just so much disengage from Janna. Like we saw 2 games ago against the Leona, and in the end, I don't think it was ultimately successful. But Janna just has such good disengage against that all-in. And if Vi gets picked, yeah, so Vi and Talon can roam around the map together really, really effectively. And those two together can take out pretty much anyone.
We're seeing a Lissandra, who's a character we don't... Well, we've started to see her more recently. When she first was released, we didn't see a lot of her. She pops up occasionally now. She's pretty solid AP assassin, and she's pretty darn mobile in fights, too. Especially if you can set up her... I haven't played her enough to remember the name of it.
Which champion?
Glacial Path.
Oh, yeah.
Lissandra.
Iceborne, Ice Shard, Ring of Frost, Glacial Path.
I always want to say Path of Frost. I know that's not right, so I always second-guess myself on that. But if
I like
she
the
can
name
set
of
that
it a
up
lot.
beforehand, then she just appears and disappears, and it looks really smooth. If it doesn't get set up correctly, or she gets CC'd and expires, then it just falls flat and looks awful. So it's one of those things that can either perfectly clean or just not end very well.
Silences against her are more effective than against almost any other champion in terms of hampering mobility, because with other champions, if you silence them, okay, whatever, they just don't use their dash yet, and then when the silence is over, then they use their dash. But against Lissandra, she has to start her Glacial Path, and so then the burden of knowledge, I guess, of the other team knowing what you're doing is on Lissandra, because they know that she's about to dash. She's set up her Glacial Path, and then they can silence her, and suddenly her window is gone. They know what her window is, and there's virtually no other champion where you exactly know what their window of escape is.
We're seeing Peoples on Orianna once again. He's played some awesome Orianna recently, so we'll probably see a return of that. There's 1 CV on each side, 1 Ignite on each side. No, there's 2 Ignites on one Garrison on Sofanda's team, which means the team fight potential is going to swing really highly in the favor of Clueless throughout the game, because they have better team fighting spells. Garrison can definitely be used for diving, though. Just always remember that. If the enemy team has a Garrison, you have to remember that. Yeah. And everything else looks pretty standard. I mean, everyone's got Revive, which is pretty typical. I'll actually show you why people use Revive if you're not familiar with it. Where's my button at for this? I have a button. Here you go. just the information in the lower right, the actual statistic numbers are outdated now. I haven't updated it yet, but all the other bullet points are still valid. I'll just give you an idea. This was July, mid-July, that this got made and calculated. So that will explain all of that stuff. Yeah, the font was originally supposed to just be used for the title, just for the word revive, but I got sick of changing it.
Is that Comic Sans,
Rheingold, why, it's so funny that you ask that. Because I have this other picture here that tells you in the lower right a little bit about whether it's Comic Sans or not.
Oh, look at that. See, I thought it was Comic Sans.
No, it's different. It's very different. It's stylistically similar. They're in the same category of, like, goofy fonts. Yeah, this is a picture that has all of the champions on it, because we had a game once where we banned all of the champions, so we needed a way to have it show on screen what was being banned. So there you go. Also, Kalen Storm, it's this funny thing called full screen and screenshot. That's all you gotta do. Well, actually, I'm not in 1080p, so it wouldn't turn out as well this time. Never mind.
Gosh, Gender.
Sorry.
How dare you suggest such a subpar suggestion?
Come on, screen, stop freaking out. There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this game is not going to be, like I introed it, VOD viewers. If you're curious as to what the heck went on here, Sifu was actually not on the roster for Cheese in the last game. It looks like he was removed briefly when he was not available and switched out for someone else as a sub, and they forgot to put him back on the roster. So he's actually not on the roster, not actually allowed to play. So Chizunuma is not in the finals because they got DQ'd for that reason, unfortunately. So it's very unfortunate. Chizunuma is one of my favorite teams. Sad to see that happen. But instead, we get to watch Clueless and Sofanda's Bear Tibbers in the finals. Sofanda's in the finals would be pretty awesome. Hopefully they can pick up their first finals victory here. We'll have to see how that plays out. This game, we're going to see Clueless, High Peoples playing as Oriana, Half-Hard playing as Urgot, Parkhurst playing as Pantheon, BB Pop playing as Kale, and Wolfer playing as Nocturne. I am one half of your commentators. I am Gander, and casting with me is...
I am Rheingold River, and the other half of your players for all 3 games, hopefully, of the finals, or potentially 2 games, is going to be Sofanda's Bear Tibbers, Generic on Janna, Golly playing Corky Armed Weasel on Talon, Northpaw on Lysandra, and Nix87, this time not on Riven, and instead playing Vi.
I think both teams might play Purchase Chicken, considering the clairvoyances. We'll see. There's one CV being used? They know what's going on now.
You want to delay that CV so that you can see their items as late as possible, but you don't want to not have your CV anymore when the windmill fight starts.
Nothing out of the ordinary coming from these opening builds. Everything looks pretty standard.
This might be the first time I've casted a Lysandra in Dominion, though. I don't actually think I've seen this champion played before.
And there we go.
She actually can. So it used to be that Caston was the only champion that could get over that wall, but Lysandra can do it now with her Glacial Path.
Yep.
And she's going to get a very nice early lead up to the windmill, and her Glacial Path will be back when she gets there.
Appears up at the top. He's going to get a little bit of capture in up front. A little bit of a mix-up. Oh dear. Half-Hard Urgot top is going to be brutal this game.
Janna is a fantastic champion to have with someone who you want to get a lot of early cap. Oh my god, the damage on Generic is deadly, and he's going to go down immediately. Nyx is here getting exhausted and focused down. Armed Weasel running away. Northpaw going to have to Glacial Path out, and that is not how Lysandra wants to be using Glacial Path. There was just so much damage from Half-Hearted there onto Janna, and the fight was basically over before it started.
Exactly. Reasons you should play Urgot. That is a great example of why you should play Urgot. Because he's capable of that. And Golly and Generic down lower part of the map. Generic coming back from that initial fight goes for an immediate gank bottom. And they're going to start turning this tower around, except actually Half-Hearted's going to show up and chase people away because he's Urgot. He can win the top fight and deflect the gank bottom. There you go. Great character.
Recalling is pretty OP, but other side of the map, Armed Weasel running away. There's enough move speed of a bonus from the dissonance from Orianna there that he could not get away. Northpaw trying to defend 2v3 alongside Generic here. Howling Gale does get the interrupt onto Orianna, getting slowed a little bit there. A lot of kite potential from the Janna and Lissandra combined. Ice Char with a little bit more, but I think Orianna is going to be able to get up to the friendly windmill.
Looks
and
like
Nyx, super low.
Oh dear, is going to get picked up by Urgot. Northpaw barely going to be able to escape with the glacial path. Turns around. Oh, why would you? No! He turned around into a corrosive charge and got
he was
gatted.
trying to juke the corrosive charge.
Maybe.
But not. Yeah.
Comes back with the revive though. Just fine. A lot of pressure being applied by Clueless in this game.
Yeah, we have Baby and Peoples are just sort of stopping anyone from coming to the other side of the map. They're doing a really good job of just having map control is really exactly what they're doing. No one can really walk past this defensive line. Now that every member of Sofanda is back on the field, now they're able to start pushing forward a little bit. And Half-Hearted might be a little bit caught out, got snared by that Ring of Frost, and is going to be focused down here. They give the shutdown over to Nyx, and I think that was giving it over to him. So they want that Vi to start getting strong. Ult back Monsoon from Generic. Shockwave is available right now, so they have to be a little bit careful. There's actually the first...
So many ults being used as escapes means they're not going to have them available to use in a fight. If they keep trying to use them to disengage with. Golly's stun takes some damage. There's an exhaust follow-up, which is going to really limit that missile damage that he fired off immediately thereafter.
But again, there's just so much focus. And this is another 5v5 team fight that is actually happening because we had Corky roam up and we had the full 5v5. The windmill did get neutralized during all of that just by creeps. So that's very, very good for Sofanda. It's going to force a member of Clueless to go up there. And when a member of Clueless has to be capturing, they're not on the map. They don't have a huge presence there.
A little bit slow, a little bit of damage in from Urgot as well. And just look at the range on that Acid Hunter.
It's crazy. And you can still hit it even if they aren't already marked by the corrosive charge. You just don't get the extra range and you don't get it to be homing. Yep.
There is the reveal from the Clairvoyance. Start running around the map. Nyx sticks his head out. Is he going to be able to be punished for it? No, unfortunately. Parkhurst is going to be saved there by BB's KO.
And Northpaw not having Frozen Tomb there meant that he couldn't follow the Glacial Path in. If he had had that ult, he probably could have followed Glacial Path in and then ulted himself in the middle of the team. That would have gotten damage down, and they might have been able to pick up the kill on a Pantheon.
One of the things you'll notice throughout this game is Urgot not having any freaking mana, because he can do tons and tons of damage, but he will run out of mana extremely quickly. Wolfer ultimate into the fight immediately. Talon gets taken down, brings him all the way up in Nyx's face, and cuts him down as well.
Yeah, Urgot... So people talk about Corky as the manaless AD carry because he just never has any mana. Urgot is like 10 times as bad as Corky because Corky at least has standard attack range. As
oh dear, that setup from Peoples was way too strong.
A double kill for Pantheon there. Parker's 5-1, so Sauron not playing today. We've seen him go 20 and something pretty much every single time he plays Pantheon. Parkhurst is kind of on his way to there.
Nyx in the bottom lane. People are swinging around from the top. Is he going to get ganked, or are they just going to leave him there? Move to that portion of the map. I'm kind of watching for it. Looks like he's a little suspicious. Looks like he's going to come up here, attack this speed shrine. They're going to circle around down for it? We'll find out. No, he's actually going up the map. Down the bottom, looks like we have Corky and Nocturne getting into a little bit of a disagreement. Noc's going to try to get away, maybe able to, but instead gets brought back towards the enemy team.
Assault and Battery onto Wolford, doesn't spell shield it, but he has pretty tanky. There's the invulnerability from Kale, and that's even better than a spell shield for the most part. But Baby is going to pay for saving his teammate's life with his own life. Shockwave not available for another 40 seconds, so they don't have that repositioning, that reset of the fight. Pantheon's actually on the top part of the map. He needs to stop these minions from getting the neutral onto the windmill. And so there's not going to be too much of a chase from Clueless here. We also have People's basically out of mana, but Bebe is still with the slows on Weasel, gets slowed himself by the Rake. And it looks like they will disengage now.
The exchange in slows made it bad for both Peoples. They broke off from each other. Janna coming down from the top portion of the map. Urgot able to put out some damage, but sees that shield. Gets bursted immediately though, and the swap not gonna be able to save him.
Yeah, not quite. You do get a lot of armor and magic resist when you start trying that ult. Generic! No amount of armor and magic resist could have saved him. That's not true. If he'd have like a billion,
if he had 1,300 armor and MR like Teemo, then he would have been okay. Kale coming down
OP.
for Golly, and is able to tag him with the Reckoning. Shield from Peoples. Peoples just wanted the assist there. He knew BB was going to live.
Yeah, shielding for assists is a really important thing to do. It gives your team a lot of gold to get an assist. Nice shockwave.
Oh dear, great shockwave from Peoples.
And that was a fantastic timed intervention out of Baby also. But he stayed around just a little bit too long. That is the Paranoia actually going to dodge over to Generic. Generic ulting backwards. Parkhurst wants to keep fighting, but he's not very tanky. Is Golly AP? Yeah, Golly's AP Corky, so that's why he just Valkyried in the middle of the fight. It was to do damage, because remember, Valkyrie is like Rocket Jump.
And Peoples there just didn't have mana to keep going, otherwise he could have cleaned up that fight very easily by himself, but mana is a very important resource, and even with the increased mana regeneration on this map, it's still not quite enough sometimes for particularly spammy characters like Ori and Urgot. So we're going to see them getting into mana bankruptcy occasionally.
There's the engagement to Urgot in top lane. Glacial Path comes in, and there's actually the ult is also Frozen Tomb. And Halfheart gonna get knocked up, gonna get knocked back home, gonna be dead. Parkhurst, a lot of CC from Nyx. And there was actually no dissonance there from Orianna, so no additional move speed, but the command attack is going to be enough to allow Vi to pick up the kill. What am I saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. That was Peoples' Orianna.
Yep.
That was not enough distance to slow them. Yeah, there you go. And Weasel
puts on the hurt, is able to break the tether on the fear and escape.
Yeah, Peoples gets ulted again by Bebe. Bebe has had really good interventions. A lot of lives have been saved, but not all of them. Some of them still go down. Nyx zoning out. Generic needs to be really careful. He could probably be one shot from a Reckoning right now. Armed Weasel certainly could be.
And People's able to interrupt the capture on North Paw, and is not able to interrupt the Glacial Path, unfortunately. Nyx still alive up here in the upper portion of the map. Generic able to help finish up the capture on that top point. Sofanda's team in control of it for the moment. Peoples is still doing his best to delay. Peoples is single-handedly keeping every single freaking one of them from recalling. But I don't think his allies will be able to get up here before they're able to get back from their recall.
Yeah, if they could have, then it would have been worth it. And actually, Parkhurst does have ultimate.
Oh, he just got his ultimate up, too. It was a couple seconds away when I looked. So, now Talon will show up there in time. It should be okay.
Yeah, and Parkhurst is actually just going to walk up top. He's going to get a lot of minion farm here, not going for the backdoor. He knows that people would be able to get there in time. And Peoples would not be able to get there in time, and you don't want people to get there before Peoples.
Normally, I've had my setup 3 different ways. I don't know what causes it. It might be the card, because I've done windowed full, I've done full, and I've done windowed. Nocturne engages at the top part of the map, goes for Nyx immediately with the Paranoia. Armed Weasel being chased away now, very low on health. Tag with the Reckoning, blown up by Peoples. Follow up the shield almost as if it was not there. Generic throws down an airborne, wants to keep them on that tower taking damage. They know better, they move immediately off of that.
And Generic is still here, still alive, shielding himself. Monsoon already used, not going to have that anymore. Takes a lot of damage from that attack. Go get the health relic. Oh no. And Baby gets that. But on the other side, Northpaw does manage to get one onto Urgot. And right now, it's actually a 3.5 cap for Sofanda.
And Pantheon moving down to the bottom part of the map. Tags Golly with the stun. A little bit of damage from the Skyfall too. Just Valkyrie's away. Is able to escape. Generic is retreating. And that slow is so vicious.
Nyx getting fear tethered by Wolfer. And he actually stayed in the fight to allow the field tether to complete there. Golly coming in. Knock up. And Vi does get the kill onto Nocturne right now. They're... Oh, great shockwave just to delay. But are they going to be able to make anything out of it? The spear shot was on the wrong person there. Not quite enough. Duskbringer goes across with a little bit of damage. More importantly, the fear tether going to proc onto Nyx. And it is Peoples with that kill. Bebe's super low. Peoples try and chase on the Talon.
And the stun on half-hard. Urgot is very bad at escaping. Is able to pick up the kill on Lysandra, but he's still not able to get the tower.
Yeah, so 1 for 1 there, but it's still a 3 cap right now in favor of Sofanda, and it's actually really impressive that they're doing this well against Clueless.
And half-hard and then moving up towards the upper part of the map. Sofanda's team recovered that Nexus health gap they had earlier on, but I will be afraid if Clueless is able to retake this tower.
Yeah, Parker's great invulnerability. The invulnerabilities out of Bebe have been so on point. Hexdrinker shield proc there, but Nyx picks up the kill anyway. Half-hearted dueling Northpaw here. The glacial path not actually finished there, just used it for damage. On the other side, a double kill for Nyx, chasing down onto Bebe. Urgot goes down, and that was a 1 fight once again by Sofanda.
I'm not sure why they went for that engagement at the top of the map, though. I mean, they did have... Enemy team had the tower, enemy team has garrisons. Not sure how I feel about that, but they know better than I do. And Wolfer dives in, and bad things happen to him. Talon, though, taken out. Wolfer does come out okay.
The double global ults like that was not something that they expected at that point, I think. And the shutdown goes over to Parkhurst. But this was a 4 cap that they're turning around into a 3 cap. Not necessarily a 4 cap that they're going to be able to turn around into a 2 cap.
Alright, there's the CV, revealing that there's no one in that area, so Lysandra has relative confidence in moving into this area, especially using the sweeper to check these bushes as well.
They're setting up a trap here, but Clueless is not going to walk into it. Sweepers on both sides.
Urgot hanging around at the upper portion of this area.
Northpaw goes in, but is going to die almost immediately. Could not even get Frozen Tomb off. Frozen Tomb wasn't up. It was up in like a half second, and he's like, oh, my ult's almost up. Well, almost is not good enough when they can kill you before it comes up. But I had the revive. So, yeah. Didn't even matter.
And top point is going to be neutral.
There's a knock up on the 2. Northpaw comes back in. Meanwhile, in bot, because Peoples was actually up, Golly was able to pick up the quest objective. So now it's actually a really, really bad time for Sofanda to fight because they have to, or for Clueless to fight, excuse me, because they have to deal with the quest objective on all members of Sofanda.
And with 2 people forced away, they still went 2v4 up at the top trying to get that that defense or that neutral, trying to prolong that. But they took a lot of damage in the process. And they keep assaulting the point up top, and they haven't been successful in doing it so far. They just sort of keep banging their heads against it. I'm not sure what the reasoning there is for that.
Yeah, and they're another 2 for 1 and at the windmill. And every single one of these engages, Sofanda is just coming out barely on top. But barely on top every single time means extremely on top in the long run.
Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for the strategic choices. Nyx in the bottom lane is being chased away by Half-Hearted's Urgot. People's Ori is down here. Top part of the map, they're going dive in for North Paw, and Wolfer is being chipped at. Jan's been doing a really good job with the crowd control, able to keep them back, and that push has been deflected once again. Now they're getting out off of the point. North Paw has been found. He's going to be able to be taken down by a Parkhurst, and they're going to be able to pick up the tower.
And meanwhile, the Boneyard was actually made neutral by Peoples and Half-Hearted. Half-Hearted does not have Revive right now. He did go down. That's actually a real death timer. But the windmill is almost certainly going to be forfeit. Jonna can make it take a little bit longer, but she can't actually delay for long enough for Weasel to get up here.
And Generic, and this is what you do. This is completely correct play out of Generic. You sit there, you do long range poke, you delay, and then you wait for your allies to show up. Go heal or something, and that's exactly what he's doing. His allies are really far away. He's just going to go heal. He's going to go regroup with them, and they're going to start the fight. And he bought all of that extra time, Nexus health-wise, in the process. Very good.
So it is a 3-cap once again for Clueless, and so far this game it was a 3-cap for Clueless for a long time, and then it was a 3-cap by Sofanda for a really long time, and now it's a 3-cap by Clueless. We'll see if the trend continues, or if Clueless is able to, if Sofanda is able to take it back. There's the suppress on a North Paw. He's gonna ult himself. Shockwave comes across. Urgot actually the one to pick up that kill. Baby pretty low. Gonna actually use some invulnerability. Not at the best time that time. Parker's not gonna go down. That Hex Drinker procced in the shield from Orianna, and he had some health anyway. Armed Weasel wants to pick that up. There's the Youmuu's activate. Pantheon gonna run away though. And Pantheon gonna go back in. Helps pick up the kill there onto Talon. The chase onto Generic now. One more auto attack from either of them and she'll go down. Except for the shield.
There we go. That shield, that airborne, saving Janna from certain oh dear. Oh dear. Wolfer connects with the Dustbringer but can't chase.
Yeah, he had the paranoia but didn't want to follow that in. And I like that. A, because you want to use that darkness in a team fight. And B, because he just didn't know what he was going to be paranoiing into.
He had no idea if Janna was kiting him into something or not. And he's actually going to use the Youmuu's to help him escape there.
But Vi might be a little bit caught out here. Gets slowed down by Kale. This is when he would like to use the ult. Gonna dash towards Golly.
Oh dear!
Oh my God,
Golly's health erased, purged, clean from the face of this earth. Ultimate from North Paw. Massive amounts of AoE damage. Clueless though, now that the burst is gone, they're turning things around very, very quickly. That burst not able to put anyone in the ground, despite being able to land that.
And a lot of that was due to the intervention also. But
I mean,
also
that
due
was,
to not quite
they
enough
were
damage.
able to put down so much damage on Clueless, did not pick up any kills. Golly was removed as a threat.
And this is a 3 and 2 halves cap right now by Clueless. I really thought that Sofanda was going to be able to do it, but all of a sudden Clueless just coming back in a huge way, focusing down onto Weasel now. Weasel's going to fall. The chase onto Golly. Golly is probably going to fall. And everyone on Clueless just has so much damage and is so tanky.
Oh dear. Kale stopped by North Paw. Was not able to secure that kill. Vi tries to escape through Kale, which would have been very cute. Unfortunately, was not meant to be.
Yeah, not meant to be indeed. And 4-cap now for Clueless. Still holding on to the drill.
Uh-oh, Wolfer wants it.
Again.
Has the fear. Generic eats all the crowd control from that. And there's the invulnerable from BB. BB, please. Oh dear, a Parker's gonna come down with the stun. Can he land that on Weasel? Yes. There is a reveal on him as well, so they can see him. Generic is back in the fight now.
And Bebe healed off of a relic and from a divine blessing, came back into the fight, but Golly also came back in the fight. So in the end, I don't think that was actually worth it by Bebe to stay, but he did his best. Hyperkinetic position reverser uses on the North Paw in top lane, and the corrosive charge is
extremely powerful. He still has enough mana to kill Talon too.
I don't even think that corrosive charge is a good name for it, because it just kills you so fast. Like it doesn't actually corrode at you. And oh, they do get the shutdown in time.
And that game is going to go to Clueless. They had a little bit more of a hiccup. They had a little bit more of a hiccup in that middle game, but they were able to pick it up for the last third of the game and bring it home. And they're going to go up one game right now. They have to win one more to take it home. It is a best-of-3 series. Let's take a look at the post-game hoo-ha. The post-game hoo-ha that has migrated off of my screen somehow. There we go. Put it back. We'll take a look at damage dealt. Find out who was on top. Oh dear, very close. Urgot and, okay, maybe not quite that close. It's separated by a couple thousand. Urgot and Pantheon way out in front. And Graveyard Hero this game is going to be... Why is Vi always the most dead? This is a recurring theme this tournament. She's been in 3 games.
Dives into the middle of a team.
All 3 games she's been the most dead. Why is Vi the most dead in every game that she's in? I don't understand. Look at really she has plenty of not taking damage items. That was going to turn to a Black Cleaver, probably. There you go. She dives in, and then apparently that's fine. Oh well. We're going to have game 2 for you in just a moment of this series. We'll see if Sofanda can turn this series around, take home their first place victory, or if Clueless is going to add another one to their trophy shelf. I'm sure they have a trophy shelf.